Yes. Right, so that it can start.
All right, everyone, welcome to the call. My name is Perpertua Mbanefo. I am a medical doctor. I'm a public health consultant and a project manager. I derive pleasure from helping people achieve the best they can be in health and overall well-being, whether it comes in planning, taking charge of your life altogether. I also enjoy community. And so here I am with the KeyCast Mom community, and I welcome everyone to this session. So the topic of our discussion is actually planning to win, master your 2026, strategic goal mapping for winning in 2026. Okay. Now, if we scroll down a bit, Kochi, thank you so much. Um, Okay, now what I wanted us to do, because I don't want this to just be a session where, Kochi, can you minimize? Can you minimize the file? Hold on, let me see if I can share. Am I able to share? Okay, I can share my screen actually. Hello, Kochi, can I share? Hello?
I forgot that I was muted, sorry. Yeah, let me give you access to share.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, everyone. So while we're waiting for that, so Happy New Year, everyone, again. Welcome to 2026. So today we want to plan on how to master our year, strategic planning of your goals, your vision, and outlining it in order to win this year. Now, for us to do that, this session will be quite interactive, and I want you to get a pad and a pen so that you can make your plans as we go along. I'll try to make it short intervals and then give us time to make some notes. Okay.
So the only thing I'm trying to see if I can allow you to share without making you host. Because if I make you host, I will lose the recording, except you record on your end.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Should I make you host
Um,
then, and then you record on your end? I know it's possible to give you access to share, but I don't really I don't know how to do that here.
okay, that's fine. Keep on sharing. I will talk through my slide and then you can follow maybe
I'll
what
just be
I'm
moving.
saying.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So everyone, welcome again. Happy New Year. As much as possible, I would like us to have a pad and a pen and just do a bit of work as I go along, okay? Because this session, as much as possible, I don't want it to just be me talking and us just listening. I want us to be able to walk through it. So now, for us to have a vision for 2026, or for you to set plans in place for this year, I want you to envision it. I want you to have a vision of what this 2026 should be like for you as an individual, right? For yourself, for your family, for your business if you're a business owner, for your career, for your health, right? You as an individual. Now, I have like three categories here, and I want you to, as much as possible, put a date of today and write down what you see for your 2026. What do you envision for your health, for your spiritual life, for your wellness or well being, for your career, for your finances, for your relationship. Continue to add on whatever is very essential for you, for your life. Again, for you to be able to do this vision board, we will look at subsequent slides where we are reflecting on where we are as of now. Because what is priority for me this year might not be priority for A and will definitely not be priority for B. Most of us might be doing fantastic in their health life, but might not be so in their spiritual relationship or in their family relationships. Some might be doing so well in their career, in their personal development, in their finances. That is not a major goal for them in 2026. So now I want you to take a bit, a brief seconds or a minute or two and note down when you think about 2026, what are those big things that if they happen in this 2026, you would have had a successful 2026. Okay? And I want us to write it down. What will be that thing that if it happens this 2026, you would have had a fantastic year? Right? Shade, can you scroll down so they can see what I'm talking about? Can you minimize?
Yeah, let me try to minimize it. Or is it better this
Stuff.
way?
You said?
Is it better this way?
No, it should be smaller.
Okay.
Okay. So while I'm talking about it and why Mofolishade is trying to adjust that, I want us to take a pen and paper and think about it. One major area of your life would you want to make a goal or do you have a vision for? And to be honest, you can't really plan for something you haven't envisioned. What do you see? What are priorities for you for 2026? We are all on a different journey. What is key to me now, at my current age, at my current level of growth, career wise, health wise, might not be priority for someone else, which is why it's super important that we do what? That we plan this for ourselves, not what society says you should plan for. Okay? Shadi, can you scroll down?
Yeah. Here.
It's not moving on my screen,
Oh, really?
but it might be moving for other people. Has
Oh,
the
is
access
it
to share?
moving?
I'm not sure. Can someone else confirm? It's not moving on mine.
Sorry, let's see.
Guys, is the slide moving on your screen?
Is it moving?
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really not moving. Are you able to give me access?
Let me just make you a host. I think that's the only thing.
All right. So while we're waiting for that, hello? While we're waiting for that, can we please just make a brief note on what's
I've made you the
we
host.
are taking? Okay. What we are taking as priority for the year. Okay.
Make the big goals that you set, things that
Sorry.
you can
All right. So I'm trying to share.
Okay.
Can you guys see my screen now? Is that better?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So I wanted us to write down in the next minute, okay? What do you envision for your life for 2026? What are the core areas you really want to set your targets for 2026? Okay. I want us to take a moment to do that. Okay. As much as possible. It's going to be a workshop, not a workshop per se, but I want you to be able to. Hello, Shade, can you hear me? Are you able to record? Okay, you're still recording. Fantastic. All right. Guys, are we able to do that? Shade, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, in the next minute, I want you to write down the vision you see for your life in whatever category is important for you. And this is not all there can be. There's finances, right? There's personal development. Whatever is important for you that you're setting your goals for or your target for 2026, please write down the major goal that you want to see. Now, moving on, very importantly, we cannot set our vision for this year except we have reflected.
Stop. Like a baby, you don't know when not to play. What is it? Stop that nonsense.
Hello? So I want us to reflect. When you think about 2025, the past, who were you? Where were you? What kind of life were you able to achieve? What are the mistakes made? And most importantly, what lessons did you learn? If you can, again, please quickly note this down. You might not write them exhaustively because we don't have time, but I want you to write 2024, or no, 2025, and circle it and write the past. Now, for us to move forward, most of us need to evaluate our actions, our behaviors, our habits, the goals we set out for the year. Who were we? What were our values? Where were we? Right. And most importantly, like I said earlier, what mistakes and what lessons did you learn from them? Put them down, okay? Now, I want you to think about yourself here and now. You can say, Perpetua, for example, me. Who am I? What kind of life am I living now? What are my habits? What are my values? Where am I? What kind of person am I? Okay? At this present moment, if your category visions, for instance, the areas that are of priority for you, if it's health, ask yourself the question in this present moment, what is my health like? If it's spiritual, the same. If it's finance, the same. Relationships, whether it's with family, with friends, however that might be, put it down. At this present moment, what kind of career do I have? How can I describe my career? Take a holistic look at Perpetua now. Because for us to move forward, we need to know where and take full account of where we are in this present moment. And to be honest, I don't want you to think about your past or your present in guilt. No, I want you to take a look at it, be able to own the mistakes, be able to receive the lessons, and be able to take accountability. And when you're thinking about yourself in this present moment, what I want you to do is to be mindful. Hold yourself in this present moment in awareness as much as you can, without judgment, with love, and write down, if you can be honest with you, who am I? What kind of life do I have? What kind of relationships do I have? What are my finances saying? What is my health saying? Now, what we want to do today is to look at our future. I believe you have noted some things down for your past and for your present. Without judgment, without regret as much as possible. I know for humans, it can be very difficult for us not to judge and condemn ourselves or blame and all of that and go on guilt trips. But I'm asking you to refrain from doing so because it will hold you back. Now, when you think about the future, you cannot hope to achieve what you don't envision. And most of us can write down, I want to so. I don't want to put words into anybody's mouth. Let your goal be personalized to you. Some of us can say, I want to be the woman that A, B, C, D, E. But internally, you don't believe that you have that capacity to become her. You don't believe that you have the ability, the well-to-do to achieve those goals you're setting. So as you're thinking about the future, if you cannot envision it, it will be very difficult for you to achieve because it will be elusive. It has to be clear. Of course, some of the things might not be completely clear to you, but as you set one foot against the other or before the other, they begin to unfold better and clearer. But you must be able to see it and see the possibility of you becoming that, having that life, gaining that wealth, becoming financially free. So the future that we want to design today, what would that look like? And I don't want you to think about this with limiting beliefs, which is why it's super important that you think about your limiting beliefs and hold them to judgment. I don't know how to say it now, but hold them and judge them. Yes, as much as possible. Okay? What do you see for yourself? What kind of life do you want? What kind of house? But most importantly, beyond what you want is the woman, the man, the lady, the girl that you would become by the time that action, those tasks, those goals, those vision is in place. How would you feel when you have achieved that career goal? How would you feel when you gain that amount of money? So you're thinking more in terms of financially free, having the capacity to advance God's work, impact people's life, sow into people's lives. What would achieving those goals mean to you? And who would you become as you go on that journey? Super important. Now, I want us to think about that, okay? And as you're thinking about that, I know this session is too small for you to have this complete vision, write it down completely, including the smallest of details, right? Including the necessary habits you need, the values, the tasks, and all whatnot. But I want you to just put it down somewhere small. Just write the heading down so that you can remember, okay? Now, still on the vision, I kind of talked about this just on the other slides. Who are you? Where are you? Take stock of your life, your past, your present, and what you hope to achieve in the future. What kind of life do you want? What do you want to become, build, do, however that is? How do you want to be known? How do you want to be perceived? What kind of woman, man do you want to be? How would you feel when you truly achieve those things? To be honest, you can't build what you cannot hold in vision. And then you need to clearly write it down to the finest detail. And when I say to the finest detail, I mean, let me take, for instance, I want to, because I always try to refrain myself from putting words into people's mouth, I want you to think about it. But we will talk about it in terms of the SMART goals in the subsequent slides, okay? But it's important that you exhaust that goal. The goal, why do you want what you want? Why do you need it? Who would you become when you achieve that? How would you feel when you achieve that? And break down the goal. Not just I want to be healthier. I mean, that's a bracket statement. Everybody does hope to be healthier, but you must be, you need to take that goal granular. What do you mean you want to be healthy? I mean, that's just a very big word, right? Now, thinking about those goals that we want to set, for 2026, sometimes I do long term, a year, 3 years. Oftentimes I can do 5. For instance, if you're running a program, for instance, if you're planning to relocate, right? There are some things that are short term that you need to set. Now, some people can set their goals based on monthly, based on weekly, daily. Another way to break it down can be in quarters, right? Depending on what major achievement you're hoping for that quarter, right? To set you up for the rest of the year. It depends. Like I said, we're all on a different journey. Be honest with yourself and know where you are in this present state and where you're headed. Okay? Now, for you to set these goals, you need to be intentional about designing it. For you to come up with the goals. And it must be personal to you, right? It has to be very clear. Okay? Now, talking about that goals, whatever goals you have written, I know most of us must have written one goal or the other. You have to think about it using the SMART goals. I know most of us have heard about this. It's not new. So I will not go into each of them, but they have to be SMART. It has to be specific. I want to be healthier is not specific enough. It has to be measurable. So there must be a number if it's a numeric goal. It has to be achievable. Now, by being achievable doesn't mean you have to limit yourself and think small. Sometimes you need to take a leap of faith and be courageous when you're setting a goal. But you have to be realistic as well and be sure it's something that when you put tools in place, systems in place, habits in place, people, places, and all of that is something that when you stretch yourself, you can achieve, right? And then it has to be time bound. If it isn't time bound, it might just continue till who knows when. Now, we've talked about the categories, but then again, it has to be based on who you think you're becoming in this season of your life. Most of us are teenagers, adults, older women or men, whomever you're becoming in this season of your life, think about your goals in that manner, okay? List the activities you need. What habits do you need to put in place? What tools, what people? What do you envisage can be an obstacle? For some people, it can be Netflix, just as simple as that, right? So you need to know what these things are and how they impact on the goal and decide what actions you need to take in place, okay? To limit how they affect you. Now, when we talk about writing these goals, sometimes goals are not supposed to be solely on your willpower or based on when you're motivated, right? Sometimes, and I think we must have habits in place, system that you're intentionally designed to enable making those decisions easier, that you're not having a lot of fatigue thinking about it. For instance, if you want to work out, maybe go on a walk, or and you have planned to work out 3 times a week, and you know you're somebody that does 9 to 5, and you know on your way back you see the gym before you get to your house or your estate, right? So you can plan ahead and have your gym kits, your wears, your sneakers, and all whatnot set out, so that when you're going, that decision fatigue is taken out. Your bag is already in the car if you drive, right? It's already there. If you're someone that your goal is to eat healthier, cutting down processed foods, sugar, what, then take the time, especially over the weekend, to stock up, to plan. And by that planning, you need to delete the things you don't want, because if they're around, picking them becomes a lot easier. You don't need the willpower because they're already there. But when you take them away, or when you put them very high off your regular environment in the house, then there is a lot of resistance to that unhealthy behavior. And put things in place that make it easier for you to do the right things that you want to do. Okay? Very importantly, if you have set a goal, prioritize it. Let the most important goal come ahead and sequence that so that the goals fall in place. And then I always say, continue to review, because as you change, I hope the goal changes you, because you hope to become the woman who gets healthier by doing A, B, C, D, the man who gets financially free by doing what. I hope that the goal changes you. So as you continue to go day by day, week by week, month or quarter by quarter, you are changing. So it's okay to go back and review the goals, make changes, iterate, and continue. Okay? Super important. Now, with what I just said, our goals is supposed to change us. It's supposed to expand your mind. You're supposed to grow with it. And that growth might not necessarily be wham, you have or you hoping to have an aha moment. No. It can be just small micro habits you put into the day. And before you know it, you're it becomes, second nature to you. That you wake up at a certain time, you pray, meditate, you stretch, you head out to work, you do this, because you're not relying on willpower alone or motivation, but the systems are there, and you have, as a person, after daily habits, you have expanded, you have changed, okay? Your goals should demand that you change, as simple as that, okay? Now, with whatever goal that is, with clarity, put it into action. However you want to break it down. What is that main goal, main task, main category? What are the topics you want to get, or what are the sub goals within that? What are the details within it? If you want to use a tracker, if you want to, if it's 10 steps a day and you say, oh, I need to kick off at what time, if it is drinking whatever water, details would be, put a lot of details in there. You might think you have it in your head, but sometimes our head is not an AI, your brain. You need to be able to clearly capture some of these things down, whether you're using a paper or an app, whatever, whatever works for you, okay? What actions do you need in place? Okay? Now, in fact, when I was in medical school, they used to call me Joseph the Dreamer because I always think everything is possible. Of course, I know that life was hard then, but the things that I do allow myself to dream, I don't envision a possibility where it's not possible or a scenario where it isn't possible. And for that, your dream, allow yourself to dream in details. The job is in the details. Okay? That life you want to envision in whatever category, the love life, family, finance, career, spiritual growth, whatever. Allow yourself to look at it in details, okay? To the smallest details, and put the smallest habits there that would support your achieving that goal, okay? Now, most of us, after having taken accountability, after having reviewed our previous years, after having taken stock and all whatnot, and mindfully evaluated ourselves in the present moment or in our present state, some of us sometimes focus on what is not important. So for this year, in order to succeed, we need to remove our attention from what doesn't fuel the woman, the man, the person that you're becoming. Anything that does not support that vision of you becoming financially free, advancing kingdom projects, changing people's lives, becoming what, remove and starve those things, okay? And as always, review, because the things that served you in January, February might no longer be relevant in March. So you need to stop watering them. Okay? Delete as much as possible. The things, the people, the places, the apps, whatever isn't fueling the places, the person you are hoping to become, and realistically putting actions in place to become, then you need to staff, delete, whatever, okay? As much as possible. Prioritize and focus, okay? Because sometimes we are focused on so many things. We have so many big goals for the year, but there is so much you can achieve, realistically speaking. So if you can set one or two, maybe another sub goal that's a major for your year, that doesn't mean you still cannot have quarterly goals, but they would all lead to the major thing you want to see happen in the year that will significantly change who you are, how you live, how you move, who you become. Okay? So now, with the goals that we are setting, it calls us to change. You might think you're fantastic last year, but until you have taken accountability, reflected, and put things in place and set new goals for yourself, believe you me, every living thing changes. It is the one thing that is constant. There are so many things that are constant, but as regards our becoming, as regards our vision, succeeding for the year, it calls us to change. And internally, human beings resist change. But I want to encourage us to be open minded. Growth will come with change, and it will require us to embrace it. It might not be completely or wholly, but as much as you can. And give yourself the permission, the grace to even believe you're what the woman you should or you hope to become. Okay? The person you wish to become would definitely require you to change. Maybe not to say would, but must. Okay? There must be areas that you need to change to make room for the woman, for the man that is emerging. Okay? So whether it's in your habits, in your belief system, in your mindset, in the systems you put in place, there are things you need to design intentionally into your life that will make the change easier, that will encourage the growth, that will encourage your becoming. Okay? Stay open-minded as much as possible. Okay? Now, one thing I've told myself that you can lie to everyone else, but you cannot lie to yourself. You think you are lying to yourself, but internally, especially if you're still conscious enough, right? There are people that lie without knowing. But if you're still conscious enough, you will know when what you're portraying of you is a lie. So be honest. A popular saying says, to thyself be true. It's only until you are true that you can see the gaps, the loopholes, the weaknesses that you need to improve to increase or promote your opportunity to become. Very importantly, we have to be intentional, deliberate about it, especially in this year and time where there is so many distractions. In fact, the next best idea can be a distraction. It can be fantastic for someone else, but until you are specific, until you are quite clear with yourself where you are and what you require, where you're going, who you are becoming, something else that is not aligned to where you're going can become a distraction. And we need to be strategic. Very importantly, make that decision. It means in the presence of so many, you are deciding to choose financial freedom. You are deciding to choose A, B, C, D, whatever that goal is. Until you have committed to those actions, until you have committed to those habits, your goal is just another goal. You can beautifully write it down. You can clearly envision it and write it down, but until you're committed to it, against all odds, you are committed. You feel good, you feel bad, I know we can give ourselves days off, absolutely, to recover, to renew, to refresh, so that you're not under a lot of pressure, right? That can impose stress on you that is also not healthy. But beyond that, you also need to commit, narrow down your vision. To those core goals that when you achieve it this year, it moves your year, it changes your year significantly. I know I haven't given us much time because it seems I've been talking a lot. I'm so sorry for that. It's because I'm mindful of our time. But to end, with every great idea, it takes time. It takes patience. We don't magically become the woman who follows through, the man who finishes, the man who's disciplined, the woman who... It takes time. And you must be patient with yourself, especially after you have taken account of where you are in the present moment. Then you can appreciate the work that needs to happen in order for you to become her, him. Okay? Finally, Whatever vision you have for your future is absolutely possible. I'm a Christian, and the Bible will tell you that all things are possible, especially with Christ. Now, that vision you desire can only be shaped by the habits you start building today. It's left for you to decide. I can't tell you the habits to build. I can't tell you the values the woman or the man you're becoming would require of you. But what I will say is, if you are clear about what life you desire, who you want to become, where you're headed, what major thing would happen this year to change your year, until you're clear with all those, you cannot set your goals. Okay? Now, I want to end it here because I know I have taken a lot of our time. Okay? And again, I welcome everyone to this session with Kika's mom community. We have Sunday discussions like this, and everyone is absolutely welcome. Male, females, adults, teenagers. Yeah. So that is the end for me, really. And I hope you had some key takeaways. Most importantly, who I am becoming might not be who you are becoming, but you have to hold that vision clearly. Because if you cannot see you becoming the person that is financially free, that is quote unquote healthier with whatever clear goals you set within that big goal, it becomes very difficult for you to achieve. Okay? So review, reflect, what is holding you back? What limiting beliefs are there? A, B, C, D, what do you need to put in place? Okay? So thank you everyone again for this amazing opportunity. Mofolishade, are you there?
Thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Do we have any questions? Because I want to stop sharing.
Questions, exactly. So thank you everyone for joining. For me, what stood out for me is where you talked about having, because there's this part that you had this big circle, main idea, then sub.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like for me, I realized that one of the challenges I have is I always try to do so many things at the same time. And
Yeah.
as you're saying, I made a mental note to tell myself, Shade, this year you're going to have laser focus on, you can't do everything. You know, you said something about that big idea that is a nice idea might be a distraction. Even though it's a good idea, it might be a distraction because it's not in line with what you're already doing. So yeah, focusing on one major thing and building a system around that to achieve that is one thing that I have taken out of that. Yeah, Moyosori says, thank you. This was very insightful. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. So any questions? Was anybody able to write anything down? You know, no matter how, I mean, like what doctor says, this is something that you still have to go back, sit with. Are they going to get the slides? Are you going to be, are you going to
Yes, share? You have the slide, you can share.
Yeah, so I can share the slides. Okay, fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you will get the slides so that you can work on your own. I mean, I think it's worth working on because sometimes you need to sit down and get clarity about, okay, what is my focus for 2026? What am I going to build a system around? What do I really want to achieve in 2026? So that you can go for it with everything that you've got. Okay? Any other questions, comments, anything that stood out for you? If you don't want
so I want to give,
you can type it in the chat.
Yeah,
you can type in the chat.
I wanted to give people the assignment.
Okay.
If you haven't like thought about if you haven't envisioned your year, if you haven't like thought about it, I charge you to think about it tonight and plan it. Okay? Plan it. Everything cannot happen at the same time. Okay? You need to have systems in place. You need to have habits that enable some of these behaviors. You need to have habits in place. Remember, one of the books that we read in our community, Ofolusha, did you remember the book by James Clear?
Yes, Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits, absolutely. And I will encourage everyone to go read it. Okay, if you don't have the book, maybe you can ask ChatGPT to give you a summary. But if you can get your hands on the book, super important, because the small habits you put in place, you think they are not making any difference, which is why they refer to it as atomic, because it's the smallest things. But before you do it over time, they compound in their effect. And that's why you can wake up and be the person that does A, B, C, D. You're the person that works 10 steps a day. You're the person that does whatever, that saves every end of the month. You're the person that plans her week. Whatever it is, put habits in place. And sometimes we might need tools, platforms to enable us do that. Of course, we didn't go into details about how are you going to measure this, but I hope you know there are several apps now that can enable you be more productive at whatever goal it is that you want to measure, so you can absolutely track it. Okay? So, I can see there are no more questions. So I
Yeah,
want to
but
thank
in the
everyone.
comments, let me just read.
Yeah.
David says it was an eye-opener. Excellent. Thank you, David. Fumi says this session is so insightful. It's a great way to start the year. I've taken some notes and I would have to digest more of them. Thank you so much, Doc. So I think the big thing, the big assignment for everyone here is to go and just write that one big idea that you have decided to focus on for the year. And let's build around that. What is your main, what is the big idea? What is the big thing you want to achieve? And she said something else about also being specific. So when she gave the example of, oh, I want to be healthy. What are the numbers? I want my cholesterol to be so and so, your numbers. Or I want to make sure I do 2 checks this year, health checks this year, and I want to make sure that, so you have to be specific in all of those things. Flora says, well done, doctor. Thank you so much. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, in fact, 9:04. Thank you for
Thank you,
keeping
everyone.
time. We'll wrap up now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It would have been nice to
Thank
see
you,
faces of those who are
guys.
joining us for the first time. I just saw so many faces, the men and the women. Thank you all for joining. If you are able to,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, this is your first time. Thank you. If you are able to show your face, open your video. Can you show your face? And let's take a group picture. Everybody say hello. Let's see your face. Knees balls.
Yeah,
Good
so
to see you.
I'm just coming from church. Oh.
No problem.
My queen doctor.
I will share the recording. I will share the recording after. Yeah. Doctor, can you help me? Who is using a phone? Can you help me take a picture? At least let's see faces of our.
I'm not using a phone.
Fumi, can you help us take the picture from your phone? Yeah? So everybody say cheese. Cheese. Have you taken the picture? Fumi. Let it not be that. Ooh, Flora has company. Or who is using their phone and can take a picture? Fumi, you're muted, so I can't hear you. I don't know if you're taking the picture or not. Let me just do
Okay.
backup.
Yes, I've taken the picture. I have.
Okay.
I've
All right,
taken
thank
the
you,
picture.
everyone. Good to see you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Remember your main
everyone.
idea and main focus for the year. Write it down. I will share the slides on the group. And then, Doctor, for your investment, I'll share the slides. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.